Mr. Leszek Nowak from Bomar Military Company, who allowed us to ask him some questions about the new Leopard 2PL Polish modernization. So the first question, probably the most important one, what is the difference between the Leopard 2PL and the standard Leopard 2A4?
So we modified the fire control system at first. We integrate a new thermal imager, third generation thermal imager produced by PCO. We coupled this FCS with a new turret drive stabilization, fully electric, and additionally into the gun, into the main gun, we integrated a programmable module to allow the gunner to fire the programmable rounds. This is the one issue, and the second issue is the improvement of the recoil system to allow the stronger key rounds, so DM53, DM63. What more maybe, because not only the FCS we modify, we add an add-on armor, so this armor plates on the front of the turret to assure better protection compared to A5 and further versions of the Leopard. Into the chassis we integrate a new fire suppression system, fire extinguishing system with the new agent Deugen N from Kide Deugra, and APU. The APU allows us to supply all the equipment during the standby position of the tank. So
supply the electrical energy.
Yeah, all the electric equipment can be supplied. Additionally, we have enough power to charge the batteries constantly. Yes.
In the same time?
In the same time, yes.
You said that these armor modules are more effective than the standard Leopard 2A5 ones.
These are newer modules. 2A5 is a product from the 90s, so it's obvious that the technology grows. So we have a better protection capabilities in such modules. So that's why when we take the older solution as A4, we achieve better improvement than an A5.
So the better protection on the turret especially, but how does it look like when it comes to the front of the hull?
On the chassis, in the chassis, let's say the need of the customer was not specified, so it is left like the A4, but the overall usage, I mean the doctrine of using such a tank is tend to the hold down position.
Sure.
So to reach, maybe not to extend the limit of the weight, 60 tons. So we omit the chassis to have the same mass as even lower mass, not the same, lower than A5, but with greater capabilities of protection in the turret, instead of the overall protection.
About the hull itself, I saw the rear-facing driver camera mounted on this specimen.
Yes, this is also delivered by a PCO. This is the same camera as we propose, for example, in modernization of the PT tanks or the T-72. It is used so far in the Rosomak solution, so it's proven solution instead of the German camera that is integrated into A5 and newer version of the Leopard. So this is a scope of Polonization in this manner.
And does it provide any night vision capabilities?
Yeah, it is integrated day-night vision camera. There are two versions of such a camera. It's a pure day channel, and either it's passive passive night vision or it's thermal vision.
Passive night and thermal.
IR, passive
IR.
IR, yes. And in this solution, we have a thermal vision.
All right. Do you plan mounting any front-facing driving cameras like on a PT tank?
No, because it's not the scope of the modernization, what the customer wants. The second issue is connected to the rights that we have, because according to the agreement, when Poland generally takes those tanks into the army, the agreement does not cover the ownership of the documentation.
Right.
So we are, let's say, we need a German company to let's say to work with. We cannot do it on our own.
It's more complicated process.
Yeah, it is not the process of the technical issue; it's the process of the rights. Yes,
exactly. Sure. As you mentioned, the weight limit.
yes.
I think I have to ask about the infamous accident during the off-road tests of this modernization, when the Leopard broke its suspension and maybe even the hole spots which suspension modules are mounted to. What happened there? What is the reason?
I mean, the tests are classified as it is, but what I can tell, it's during the test what we have from our knowledge after previous modernization. I mean, the PT tanks, the T-72 tanks. During the tests, anything can happen. It happens sometimes that something breaks. It's normal, because during the test we have to test it to the limits. The weight, what I told you about, it is connected to the suspension, but the limit of the suspension is not 60 tons, what we don't exceed. The suspension can withstand even more without any changes. So if such a breakdown occurs, it is not connected to the failure in the modernization scope. What I can tell more, it is that the tanks are not new. So all the parts that are left in the tank, left in the tank, I mean from the A4 directly.
You mean without any modernization and
Yes.
changes?
So this part are tested in our production lines before remounting in the tank. But of course, it can happen that even if it passed the tests in usage, it can occur that it will grow. Yeah, this is a danger, let's say, in the project, but it's calculated in the project, and the customer possess proper knowledge about it.
What is the Boomer approach to the production and service of these units? For example, is it gonna be possible to make entirely in Poland, like Gliwice, for example?
Yeah, in Gliwice we are prepared so far, and we realize it, of course. The maintenance and overall of the A4 tanks. Our colleagues from Poznań are dealing with the A5s. Of course, when we modernize all the A4 versions, so we have to switch to PL. It's obvious. We are ready to start such a procedure. Of course, not in a 1 or 2 year time. It will be in a longer period, but we are ready for it. We thought about it. Also, we are ready with a storage of the spare parts dedicated to the new version. So, of course, in some aspects, we are let's say, we have to work with the cooperants that can produce it's not the original parts, but the parts according to the documentation. Some documentation from the stock 2A4 are not allowed to produce by whoever wants. So are limited number of the factories that produce such a spare part. So we have to buy from one of these suppliers. Yes, yes.
Right. So that's enough, I think.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you
the
very
interview.
much.